Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Detroit Institute of Art's Thursdays at the Museum program. I'm Amanda Harrison, a Community Engagement Manager with the DIA. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we're inside the studio of Phillip Simpson, Detroit fine artist and muralist, to discuss his trademark style and give a behind the scenes look at some of his recent work. If you have questions throughout the program, please share them in the chat by logging into YouTube using your Gmail account or by leaving a public comment on this Facebook page. Questions will be read on screen by our host, Studio Coordinator Zak Frieling. Now, to get us started, please give Zak and Phillip a warm welcome. Hey, guys.
Thank you, Amanda.
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
Good. How are you, Phil? How's it going?
Oh man, very excited, very happy to be here. Thank you for having me, and I'm feeling good.
Good, good. Yeah, happy to have you here. Nice day to be doing something virtual.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
thanks for joining us from your studio. So we're gonna look at some of your work
yeah.
here for about half an hour or so. Then you're gonna show us how it's done and a little bit of what's going on in your studio there, right?
You got it. Yeah, I'll be working on a live piece here for you. Let's
Cool,
start.
cool,
Add some
cool.
detail to it. Yep.
Awesome. So to start us out, we're going to talk more about this piece to the right a little bit later on one of your more recent and I would guess biggest
Oh yeah,
murals. Would that?
biggest for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Down on the Broderick Tower there downtown. But before
Yes,
we
sir.
get too into the weeds, I guess, can you just tell us a little bit about your background, what you do, how you got started, all that kind of
Sure,
stuff?
sure.
Cool.
Let's do it. So once again, thanks for having me.
Of course.
To everybody who's meeting me for the first time, I'm Phillip Simpson, born and raised in Detroit. Amazing believer in smiling and believing in spreading joy and kind. So I dedicate all of my artwork to that message. Proud father and husband and family guy. So I practice what I preach in my artwork. I smile with my family. I make sure you know. Be kind and say hello to a stranger. Give someone a hug if you can, and I try to put that in my artwork. And for the most part, been drawing and painting murals for the last 5 years or so, and I'm loving it. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So let's take a look here at some more of your work. This is a piece of you actually working on one. This was a photo sent to us, and I just like this is sort of
Man,
your trademark smile, right? Can you talk
yep,
a little bit
yep.
about that? How you
No,
arrived on that?
oh, thank you so much. So look, check this out. So before I was drawing smiles on walls, before they was in any paintings, they just ended up in my sketchbook. Just doodling every day. And one of my professors at U of M um, asked me to close my eyes and do a blind contour drawing, and I just kept drawing this smile over and over again. Now it's grown into what it is now. It didn't look exactly like this 10 years ago, but this is now what I put in all of my pieces. It's also my version of yin and yang. Each face has like a lighter and a dark area, and it's just always letting me know to remind myself about balance. And I know there's days where you can't smile. It's things happening in life, but just always believing that sun is going to shine and just still remaining positive. So that's what this is all about. You
That's great. That's a great yeah, great note of positivity. And it's great that, when given this chance to make all this public artwork, that's kind of what you're putting forward, this sort of
Yeah, yeah,
universal positive
yep. And
message. And that's great
it's
about the
also,
okay.
so you go ahead. No, I was just saying it's
Oh,
also fun to
yeah.
meet the public people in the neighborhoods
Oh
because they
yeah.
play a part in it. They play a part in ideas because, in all fairness, if it's not the neighborhood I'm living in, once I paint the mural, I may not see the people again. So I have to
Mhm.
make sure I leave a piece of me and leave something that they can walk past and feel good about. Yep.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yep.
And here we've got, so this one we were just looking at, you can see the whole thing here
Yeah.
was part of the small business mural project. We see a few others on the right here. It seems like you work with a lot of different groups, a lot of different initiatives, and a lot of different partners
Yeah.
on these murals, it seems like, which must be pretty interesting. Do you
Oh,
have a
very
an
interesting.
do you have an estimate on how many you've done within the city? I'm just curious.
Yeah, yeah. So currently to date, now there's about 7 murals with the city.
Nice.
throughout East, West, and different parts of town. Yep.
Nice. Cool, cool. So let's take a look at a
So these
few
are
more.
so. Yep. Even three of these are with the city as well. Yep. And it's
In the
always
yeah, the
working with
City Walls program.
yep city walls, and then you're working with youth. Sometimes you're working with the partnership with different programs, uh, and you bring in one-time run. You bring in
Mm.
different assistants, and it's a great party, because when we out there painting, there's music playing. It's a good vibe, to match the message in the wall,
Yeah, yeah. It does seem like a lot of your work is kind of, about unity and community and good times. And it's great that, it's not just represented in the work, it's also in the creation of it.
It has to be, yeah, because we don't. I don't want to seem disgenuine, I try my best to live what I talk about in my artwork, and I always want to share with people that the message smiling and spreading joy doesn't always mean like showing your teeth.
Hmm.
You know, it's just
Hmm.
believing in optimism and being kind. That's what it's for. You know.
Hmm. And we've got a few more here. I want to talk in particular about this top right one, this Osborne community mural. Can you tell us a little bit about
Yes,
that piece, how that came
sure. So
about, and the
that's actually my
significance?
first mural. So proud. My good friend standing next to me in the photo. His name is Tony Rave. We did this painting together. We did this mural together. We're both born and raised in the east side of Detroit in the 48205 area. So this is where the building is located, and it felt really good to represent home, but it also felt good to represent the neighborhood I'm from. Yep.
Yeah, that's great. So this was your first mural.
Yep, and we partnered with Nice Foundation and actually the DIA for this, and it's on
Right, right.
a Matrix Center. So it was a
Nice.
lot of initiatives that all came together just to uplift the positivity that was happening in the neighborhood.
Yeah, so that's kind of nice too to be this almost like a conduit of taking these different organizations and
Oh yeah,
combining forces into this one thing that also sort of stands, for the neighborhood, something that they can
oh yeah, and
look
the
at and
people,
appreciate. And
it feels good to represent something that's when they ride past, they get to see something that shares love. So
yeah, definitely. And
yeah,
you mentioned some, we've talked about murals in the market and we look at some of your work downtown, but it's also really great that you mentioned these are all over, they're not just an Eastern Market, they're not just downtown, they're all over, in different neighborhoods. And I
yeah.
think that that's
So
great
so
for
this
everyone
is
to see
oh
too, to have
man,
some beautiful art in
yep.
their neighborhood.
Yeah, because here's what it really boils down to. It boils down to the kids seeing this when they walk past, when they go to school, they walking past
Hmm.
these murals. So
Hmm.
to have murals in the neighborhoods where it like really, really matters, where it
Hmm.
can really reflect the individuals that live there on all aspects, I think
Yeah.
that was bring real value to it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because they're seeing, that somebody's willing to take the time and care to paint in their neighborhood. They're seeing that this is something they can maybe do or get involved with.
Yeah.
There's a there's a lot of positives to it. And we've got a
These are
few more here expanding to murals on the ground. We're going to talk about those, but I wanted to talk a little bit about this top left one here as part of the Blackout Mural Festival.
Yes, yes. So first off, shout out to the Blackout Mural Festival. Shout out to Sidney James. Shout out to all the other artists that played a contributed role to making this happen. When I was invited to this mural festival, I knew I wanted to paint my daughter, just because this is my baby girl journey, man. And when I'm talking about smiling and spreading joy, that's what she brings to my life. So I wanted to paint her real big, and now she knows there. Um, it's a good thing, man. You just want to do something for your family, and the way you work, the way I work is through art, and she couldn't believe it. She's only 4 years old, and it just blew her mind away that she's on a wall.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I can imagine, especially, being four and like she kind of gets it, but probably not, quite, but
Yeah.
it also being so huge and larger than life. And I'm sure she's
Yep.
thrilled every time you drive by it.
Oh yeah, I mean, because we got around the house, we got art books around the house.
Hmm.
I've taken to all the art galleries I've been to. We go together with this whole family, and so she's familiar with art. She know what a mural is. She's starting to draw and paint. Who knows? I just
Nice.
want her to have fun with it right now.
Yeah. Have you got her out
Yep.
there assisting you at all on any of these yet? Is she helping out with the
Hey.
roller, with the paintbrush?
Yep. She'll be ready. Yep.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, and then as you said, this was part of the Black Outlaws Mural Fest, which was all around the north end, just north of the museum here. And
Yep.
about how many murals was that in total?
Man, it's got to be at least 25 to 30. All new
Yeah, yeah.
murals by local artists and some artists from out of town. It was
Mhm.
beautiful.
And they all just
Yep.
went up in like the course of like a week. It was incredible.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
I
everyone's
remember,
working at the same time.
yeah, yeah. I
Yep.
remember biking around that area and one day it's same old, and then all of a sudden 3 days later there's just 20 new murals all over the
Oh yeah.
place. It's great.
I mean, it was just something great to be a part of something. Especially this is for sure an initiative for the people of color to have something and to all represent one neighborhood in different
Mhm.
cities. So this is just the first time, and it's for this coming up is going to be in Oakland, and so they're gonna
Oh,
start
yeah.
spreading all this and working with different artists from all around. So I was just happy to be a part of the first one.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. That's great. I didn't realize it was going to expand and be a national thing. That's
Oh
great.
yeah, they're taking it there. Yep.
Are you going to be taking it there? Are you doing any out of state murals?
Hey,
Have you done
let's
any yet?
let's That's the
Throw it out
plan. That's
there.
the plan.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
nice.
that's the plan, man. I've only done a couple, but I would love to start flying and spread joy and put smiles everywhere. Yep.
That's great. Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah.
great. Yeah. So this is off Grand Boulevard and what, Oakland maybe
Yep.
thereabouts.
It's actually it's in a building called the Vanguard Building. Yep, right
Hmm.
off the boulevard.
Nice, nice. Yeah.
Yep.
So if you're around on your way home
Oh
from the
yeah,
museum
please.
or two, check
Yeah,
it
please
out.
check it out. Yep.
Lots of great ones up there. And then I wanted to talk too about some of you were talking a bit about your style before you got into the smile. Um,
That's
and
right.
these are some portraits that are a little different but a little similar. Can you talk about these ones a little bit?
Sure, sure, sure. So here's the thing. I love painting smiles now, and that's primarily what I'm known for over the last 10 years or so. But growing up, I drew a lot of comic books, a lot of small details, a lot of uh, graphite, a lot of portraits. And so I come from a realistic background, and now I can combine both styles. So I'm starting to do more portraits that still have the smile outline, but they're in mostly spray painting acrylic, and I can still get realistic, but have fun with it. Yep. These
That's great.
I'm very happy to say that all three of these pieces sold and are in private collections, and so that feels good. I actually feel good to say that I have collectors. It's an amazing feeling. Yep.
And international collectors too, right? I think you mentioned the Stacey Abrams one. Where is that
Ah,
located at?
yes. So the Stacey Abrams piece is currently in Salzburg, Austria, and it's an incredible thing to even say that I have work over there. I was part of a global seminar there, and it turns out Stacey Abrams was part of the same seminar years before. So they wanted to buy a painting, buy a global seminar for painting one. It was pretty cool.
That's great. That's great. And just looking at the comments here, someone asked, "Where is the Blackout Mural Fest and when was it?" That was what, late July, I think.
Yep. So it was this past summer, and I believe it's going to happen yearly. It's currently in the North End Milwaukee Junction area. I believe that like
Hmm.
the main intersection is Oakland and Boulevard. You can pretty much
Hmm.
find everything from up the street and back and forth. Yep.
Yeah, I think between Grand and Holbrook on Oakland there's quite a few you
Yep.
can't
Yeah.
miss.
Right. Down to go down to
Um,
Holbrook.
and
And
they've
during
got
the
a web.
summertime, it's pretty cool to ride a bike. You can kind of see most of them in one straight
Mhm.
line. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some real amazing ones there. And they've got a website too, blakoutwalls.com that has images and a map and all that, which is very helpful.
Oh yeah, perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
It was a great opportunity though. It's part of being something that's gonna be around for a long time.
Yeah, and the inaugural
Yep,
one is always special as well.
that's
And
right.
speaking of local artists and collaborating and connecting, this was a piece we pulled off your Instagram. Can you talk a little bit about this project?
Yeah, so I have in the works a coloring book by a lot of my favorite artists in Detroit, and this was dedicated to the artists of color. And so you have 20 here. These are all friends of mine, um, people that inspire me, people that champion me. They speak highly of me. I get respect from them, and I give it back. These are local artists that's really doing great work in the city of Detroit. Yep.
Yeah, that's great to be using your talents to shout out some of the many other talents.
Oh yeah, because if I'm 30, I'm 39. There's artists on here 10 years younger, and there's artists on here 10 to 15 years older. You know, because I get inspiration from all around. You know.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. That is great. Um, I'm sure it's everywhere, but we really notice that a lot in Detroit. We've got everyone from we do our DPSCD show all the way up to we've got the Shirley Woodson show up right now. Just lots of
that's
many
right. That's
generations of
right.
artists.
Yep.
And we were talking
And
a bit earlier about the oh, go ahead.
say that again.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, so her son Senior Reed, he's one of
Mm.
the he's one of the people in this coloring book that I
Oh
pay
yeah, yeah,
homage to
yeah.
because yeah, he's an amazing painter and not too far from his mom, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, his work's great. He's brought some groups he's worked with down to the museum throughout the
Oh, perfect,
years.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is
Yes.
another recent work. This is from this past year, right? Speaking of collaboration and other
Yes.
artists, but this is collaborating with a musical artist. Can you talk a bit about how this project came together? Maybe give
Oh
a quick
man,
rundown
listen.
on Theo Parrish if
Yeah,
anyone's not familiar.
this oh my goodness, an amazing spirit, amazing DJ, amazing musician. This gentleman here, we met at the Baltimore Gallery when I ran my gallery, and he was very humble. He just walked in to buy some artwork. I had no idea he was Theo Parrish, and once it was brought to my attention, we built a relationship organically, and he loved my artwork. We did some events together, and he approached me like, "Hey man, I got this song, Smile. Would love for you to do the artwork. What you think?" And it all worked out, you know.
That's great.
But we're actually friends, and this is this only shows a little bit of the energy that we can put out there. I mean, the album is great, the music is good, and I was happy to accompany it with artwork.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And yeah, he's been at it for a long time. One of the
Oh man, he's a legend,
real
legend man.
long-term Detroit
Oh yeah,
electronic
yep,
artists for sure.
and around the world. So yeah, it's pretty cool to have to make that history with him.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's great. And I know you've said, and I can believe that it's pretty exciting, walking into a store and seeing this up on the wall or flipping through the bins and seeing it by
Yeah,
surprise and your
the
own artwork.
first time it happened to me, um, even in a friend's house, who I was at a friend's house, and turns out he has a record player. He collects records, and he has the records sitting on the mantle, and I'm like, oh snap! Like, I'm all around through this album artwork. My art is all around the world. You know,
Mhm. Yeah, that's
yeah,
great.
it's pretty
That's
cool.
great. That's great, being on the mantle. Shows that's great that it wasn't just tucked away in the shelves or something. It's also a piece of art that, someone can display.
Oh yeah,
It's
yep.
great.
And then this album artwork was actually inspired by the artwork behind me, part of a
Hmm.
series I was working on called Fun in the Sun, which is all about just a beautiful day outside, and doing something that you enjoy. And in this case, we want to make sure that he enjoyed music, so that's why he has an album. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. And I love the flowers there. Almost just looks like picking the record up like out of the garden or something. It's nice.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just something that everybody who fall in love with records, I will try to champion that moment. You know.
Hmm. The
Yeah.
flowers too, they remind me a lot of that first De La Soul record. I don't know if that's a influence for your style at all.
Ooh, it wasn't, but that's a great record, great group too.
It
So,
did.
y- yep.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Okay, Zach, that was cool.
So now back to some of these murals on the ground here. This was just downtown this
Yeah.
past summer, right? Which this is a huge project. You can tell this is 5 basketball courts.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you got 4 basketball courts, and you have one court that was multi-purpose. It was a lot of kickball. It was a
Hmm.
handball. It was like a different sports on that one. But it's you see how large it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So this was a lot of work. But I didn't. I got to give a shout out to my friends and family who came out to help, even if they just had added a brushstroke. Helped me get done in the time frame in that 2 weeks to get open for opening day, and to go out there with my daughter, man, and have her play basketball on the court I painted and see all the other families out there, it felt really good.
Well, that's great. You said this was all done in 2 weeks?
Yeah, all day, all night.
Wow. Wow.
No, not too
For
many breaks,
for
but
for context, something else, like I'm just gonna jump back. Like I know this was done in a few days, but like some of these other large scale wall ones, what would the time frame be on
yep.
something like this that's like the side of a
Oh
building?
yeah. So everything. Some of those are like a day or 24-hour turnaround,
Oh wow.
like the two on the left. But there's usually like 3 to 4 days,
Okay.
But you get along. On a good day, you can get 8 to 10 hours, you
Yeah.
know, in one day, and especially if you got an assistant and a team working with you, you can
Hmm.
move through it pretty fast. Yep.
Yeah. All right. I guess I could say then, but that's still quite a bit for 2 weeks. Especially I like this picture here with this. I know you're just doing the fine lines, but it's almost like you use this small 3-inch brush to do the whole thing,
Yeah.
which
Oh no, man, we had some
be crazy.
huge rollers. We had just that fine detail part. We had to do that just to make sure it's clean for everyone, and then
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
actually see the lines when you're playing ball.
And then we can see on the right here, this was right next to the roller rink that Sheafy McFly, right,
Yeah,
designed and
my
painted.
homie. Yep,
So
yep.
that's
So he did the
cool too. That
the uh, the
was, yeah.
Oh man, just when we found out we was working together, it felt good because we're good long term friends, and so it was good to work beside him again.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
great. Are these still up? What happened with these with the weather changing? I know that whole area is kind of always in flux and it's like a
Yeah, so it's
drive-in right
always
now.
changing. Yep, it's always changing. So it's currently the drive-in,
Hmm.
and I'm sure they have another activation next summer where they have a lot of different cool aspects out, and then it may go back to something else, but it's always revolving. Yep.
Yeah. That's pretty exciting though, and pretty special to be a part of that. I'm sure
Oh
got
yeah,
quite a
yeah.
bit of
It's oh man.
traffic this summer.
Oh yeah, a lot of traffic, and then it was a great team over there at Rockmore. It's just a great team. People really care about art in the city, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and this is right downtown. You can kind of see for reference if you know that tiger poster, mural, ad, whatever that is, but
Oh
kind of right
yeah,
across
yep,
from the
yep.
CompuWare building, right in near Campus
It's like
Martius
It's
downtown.
like Cadillac
Yeah,
Square,
yeah.
right off Randolph. It's right in the middle of everything.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they've still got that big drive-in screen, so you can't really miss it. And just some other process shots. So we've seen you using a brush, a roller. I think you also said you use spray paint, right? Do you have like a favorite or what you come back to most often?
Oh yeah, so it's always a mixture. It's always a mixture. Over the last few years, I must say I fell in love with the can. Just practicing on my blends and listening to some artists that inspired me. That taught me a lot about the spray cans. Um, just practice a lot. A lot of practice, but I'll never forget my hands with the brush. That's how I started.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of, you mentioned artists that inspire you with the spray can, and we've talked a lot about local artists and some music. What are some other artists that you've found to inspire you? Going back to when you were first getting started, or that have, helped guide your
Oh
path throughout the years, whether they're local, whether
yeah.
they're deceased.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
I know that's a
So
big
growing up,
question.
no, 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 I like that question. Uh, so in middle school, high school, I really found out about Aaron Douglas and Jacob Lawrence, and
Hmm.
uh, and totally two different styles. But one I learned a little bit about like figure, but one is about color and layout. It's just but as I've grown older, I really got into product as well. So I
Hmm.
must say I love cars. Um, I love uh, I love the the variety of abstract sculptures by Jeff Koons. But
Mm,
I look forward to having large smile sculptures. I made
mm,
out of metal, made out of fiber, and this is just the
nice.
beginning of this smile introduction to the world because I think we can take it far. And so I've been looking at a lot of artists that's doing sculptures or
Nice.
large mass balloons, 100-foot balloons. Just something to really get the message out there. But there's still
Love
like I used to love the detail by an artist by the name of Chuck Close.
Yeah.
He just passed away. His artwork was incredible to me. These are some of the people that I read about. Of course, you got the textbooks where you read about artists that's taught,
Mm,
but majority of my inspiration come from local artists that I can talk to. I
yeah.
can put my hands on. I can hug. Tyree Guyton was a huge inspiration and become a friend of mine. There was a graffiti modern artist who go by the name of Shades. Uh, he the one who say, "Hey, dude, you can paint, but you gotta start growing bigger." I used to only paint on small canvases, and he pushed me to go bigger. And so it's just a lot of the local
Mm,
artists who just took their time with me, to share wisdom with me. I'm definitely always thankful.
nice. Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, you went bigger. You're on the Broderick Tower now. Got some comments in the chat
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
An emphatic yes for Aaron Douglas. We have a beautiful Aaron Douglas in the collection. That's like a mock-up for a mural that is one of my favorite pieces. I don't know if it's on view at the moment, but just great
Oh, okay.
geometric
Okay.
shapes and the purples and
Yeah.
yellows, figures and the
And
shapes.
I
It's very
and guess what?
cool.
Naming some of those just man those giants in the art world, and so there's also Kehinde Wiley. Like he's more
Yeah.
of a he's current, but when I seen his piece, I had already read about him, but seeing his piece in the 30 American show, I was just
Mm.
I was just blown away. But I
Oh,
have
yeah.
to learn to appreciate because my work is different. I
Mhm.
want to do bold colors. I want to do smiles. I want to paint 100 smiles in one room. But I just want to always put that message out there. And so, um, artists like Keith Haring, you know, it, it
Oh, yeah.
it
Yeah.
lets me know that this is possible. You
Mhm.
know that I don't always have to paint portraits, but I love to when I choose to.
Mhm.
But what if I want to paint smiles for the next 20 years?
Yeah.
And do a smile in every country. I just want to
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I grow this message of spreading joy in a large way. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, Keith Haring's one I can see the connection to for sure.
yeah,
Just about, spreading positivity in bright colors and bold shapes and
yeah.
all that. That's
And
great.
it's sometimes a challenge being a black male with some of the things that's happening in the world. Like I understand it's not always a time to smile. And so sometimes I try to make portraits where it stands for something. I've done different murals that stood for something, and but I always want to go back to tomorrow is going to shine. It's going to have sunlight. And
Mhm.
so that's why I keep pushing a positive message.
That's great. That's great. Um, we've got a few more minutes, then we'll switch over to your demo. Here's just I like the shot just showing the in process, kind of seeing the
Oh
colors and then how it started
yeah.
off with that before, turning to this, which was cool to see. So how many days would this be into the process?
Oh man, just like day 4 or 5, because
Okay,
you got
well,
to get all that base down,
the base, yeah.
and once you get all the lines out, it's just not coloring book at that moment. And then you
Right,
got a
right.
team of people helping because you have to be. But you have to be done in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because there's a start date. So I had to bring in friends to help, and it was a pretty fun process.
Hmm. That's great. Another comment here in the chat, from someone seconding saying would love to see sculptures. So
Yeah,
people
oh
are
man, it's
waiting.
something that I'm really interested in. I'm interested in small collectible toys,
Oh
but
yeah,
I'm really interested in some large, very, very large small pieces that can be in like a downtown, like a statue, and I'm
yeah,
working towards that.
nice. I would love to see. I think you mentioned like a balloon. Yeah, like in the Thanksgiving Day parade, a big smile going down Woodward. I think
Oh, yes, that's
that'd be
why
cool. I'm
I
gonna
got my
put
smile
that into
man,
the universe right
but now
now.
that's right. Something really large, something that can just. I want to do a project where I can have a large floaty in the Detroit River for like a week. You know, it's just the first thing you see is a large smile. When you go downtown. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, we've got a few more. Another basketball court, but this was an earlier one, right? I think you said this was your first basketball court, one of your
Yep,
earlier
my
murals as
first
well.
court. Yep, like 2016, I partnered with students from Osborne High School and a program for youth called Build On, and we had a great time. This also took about a week, but there was a lot of youth out there learning how to use a brush for the first time. I was actually on the end as an instructor, but we were able to paint some smiles and add some positivity to the neighborhood. Actually, I was born and raised in, so yeah,
That's
another
great.
another mural that's on the east side.
That's great. Um,
Yep.
Real quick, another comment here from Gail Watson Smith, who has been one of our artists for this series before, I think maybe exactly a year ago, but she just posed the
Oh,
question, does art
nice.
have to have a message or can it be art just for the sake of creativity? Which I think is a great question.
Oh, 100%. Great question. So that's actually something I challenge with. Um,
Hmm.
Sometimes I just want to make art. I typically usually add a smile in it, um, but sometimes it's just how I felt that day, and I'm not really sure what's going to come out once I get started.
Hmm.
You know, um, of course, there are some pieces like the one behind me, or the two that kind of had a theme. I approached it knowing what the next 10 pieces will look like in a series, and
Hmm.
they have a meaning. But there's a lot of times I walk in the studio and just make something because
Hmm.
it's in my blood, and sometimes those are days where I just love the pieces even more. Yep.
Hmm. Yeah, I would agree. And I think that, yeah, if you have an idea, if you have a message, if you have a plan, that's great. But I always tell students, if you don't know what you're going to do, just put that marker, pencil, pen, paintbrush, whatever on the paper and just start
Yeah.
going, just start moving and hopefully you'll just, get out of your head a bit and
Actually,
your
that's
brain will
something.
switch into creativity mode and you'll have
Yep.
something.
You said a word that I use a lot in the studio. That the word moving, because once you get going, your body's flowing. I have music playing.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's a that's probably why the energy that I want to put in the painting, I get in that vibe first,
Hmm.
and sometimes I paint with a different approach, just off a long day, a stressful day. I just need to create something, and it may not have a smile on it, but it just feels right to get it out.
Hmm. You
Yep.
mentioned music. I know that this is maybe even a bigger question than like what are your artists that inspire you, but what are like one or two or three like musicians or artists that you find yourself listening to or have been listening to often recently?
Oh man, so no matter what year it is, I'm gonna probably always go back to um, Tribe Called Quest. I listen to a lot of Tribe. Um, there's a group of guys from Buffalo, New York. I listen to a lot. Griselda Records. It's just like inspiring me to just never give up. And from time to time, I may just turn on YouTube and listen to documentaries.
All
It may
right.
not be music. It's just in the background. There's a documentary about someone or something playing,
Hmm.
and it's always something about art, fashion, or pop culture in some way. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I found as I've been working from home for the past 2 years or however long, I've been doing, sometimes, yeah, it's nice to just throw on a documentary just to have some like, pick
Oh
up little
yeah.
pieces of it, just to have some, background
Yep.
conversation
Because
going
to be
on.
honest, I listen to documentaries or I listen to like an audio because it's hard to read a book. I can't sit still long enough, and it really feels good when I get it through the audio. So
Yeah,
yep.
that's great. Another comment here from saying Spain art minor students from I believe Spain elementary school, watching
Oh,
and loving
nice.
this, which is right down the street from here, I believe. So
Oh,
got some students
beautiful.
watching.
Thank
Shout
you.
out to Spain art students.
Blessings.
And then there's
Thank you.
this basketball court again. I forgot I had this slide too. You mentioned um, where it was, and I was just curious, and I found it. It's on this left picture here is from Google Maps, which I thought that Google Earth,
Wow.
whatever you want to call it, I just thought that was really cool to see your artwork, being viewable from satellite. That's not something a lot of
Yeah, that when
artists
you
are
brought
able
this to my
to
attention, I
claim.
had never seen this. This is pretty cool because this
Yeah,
is like a block away from the house I grew up in, and so to know that we left a positive mark there is I'm so glad you added that to the slide.
yeah, it's cool. I wonder too for the Midway downtown if that's on there as well. I didn't think to check. And then I think this is our last slide. I just wanted to wrap this up with this. Which is a current photo. This was like we mentioned, on the Broderick Tower, just downtown.
Yep,
Definitely your largest piece, and this is a
man.
and it's like a vinyl wrap or
Yep,
like
yep.
sticker, I
It's
guess, kind of.
it's just hanging on top of it, and
Nice.
just the opportunity, man. Just it's the concept of Detroit as home is something that I feel strongly about as a long time, and I'm born and raised here. Uh, I love home. I love Detroit, and this opportunity to put it downtown, man, it was a monumental moment in my life. Yep.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's really something, and it really this picture does not do it justice. Just seeing how large it is and how bright it is, and I like too that it reminds me a lot of some of the historical Detroit murals, things like the Lester Johnson or the
That's
Charles
right.
McGee that's around the corner, the David Rebello that's not there anymore, the John Egner on the Park Shelton right by here. Just sort of this long lineage of
Listen,
geometric, quasi-abstract
yeah,
murals, many of
just to
which aren't there
be
anymore.
just to be
And this one is.
named amongst those other artists you just named. I mean, just to be in the same sentence, man. That feels good because this is seen by everybody who's walks downtown, who drives up 75. You can see it from the baseball games, and I believe, I hope, and I believe it's going to spread some joy to some people. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, yeah, so that's all the slides we've got. I think now we've got about 22
Oh
minutes left. I
man.
think now you're going to quickly show us how you get started on a piece there. You got your easel right behind you, and here's your
Yeah.
Instagram
Yep.
right below, so folks can find you on there to see more information on all of your pieces and what you're up to. But yeah, I'll let you take it from here now, and yeah, show us what
All
all the
right.
process is.
Okay. So once again, thank you guys. Thank you for having me. I go by the name of Phillip Simpson, Art by Phillip Simpson on Instagram, and I'm all about spreading joy and smiling. Uh, as of lately, I start off a lot of my paintings just like this with a layer of spray paint. This one here has a gradient from light to dark. Um, I got some markers. I got some paint. And so we're going to make a smile face for you, a little abstract, and let's do it. All right. So this is sometimes I work a lot bigger, but for today I got a small canvas, and I may start off with the outline. All right. So not the perfect circle, but it's perfect for what it is. Everybody's face is different, right? So I add my eyes, my nose. All the nose has a P in the nose for Philip and positivity. Little insider note. Big nose, big lips, like my mom and my granny and my aunties. These are all smiles inspired by family and friends. You know, all my smiles have little cheeks. So I'm gonna add some teeth there. So this is pretty much like the smile face, right?
Mm-hmm.
But all of my smiles have white teeth in the middle. So I add do a little quick version of that.
What sort of paint are you using there?
Oh, great question. So I use a lot of acrylic. Um, I actually want to get back to using oil, one day. That's a goal of mine to do that this year. So um, I'll be reaching out to some of my friends who does oil on a regular basis to kind of give me some guidance. But I use acrylic. This is mural paint. This is actually paint that's found in Blick in Midtown. Just think it has a great texture. It dries pretty fast. I use it outdoors as well. Um, so this is our little quick tease there. All of the murals, whether large or small, typically have this. I just started doing more murals with mouths that actually have teeth and tongues, so that's kind of like the next generation of the smile. So you'll be seeing that a lot this year. Um, I got a different color blue, so this here is like a royal blue. Probably add some details in the cheeks there. When I do this with a group of people, we all have like 20, 30 canvases, and I instruct the families to make their version of the smile, but use it in your favorite colors, use it in your favorite features. So you may have earrings, you may have a lot of hair, you may have an afro, and at the end of the day, man, it'd be the best smiles ever because uh, everybody's smile is different. You know, everybody's smile has their own features, their own beautiful attributes, and so um, when you do like 30 together, not one smile is the same, which lets me know that we all got our own individuality. You know. Then I add another color on this cheek here. I usually have some colors that kind of complement the background. Sometimes the same color family like this one here.
In that background there, that was just spray paint, correct?
Yep, this spray paint. I love gradients. It's usually in all of my artwork. Looks like a turquoise here, then it goes down like a blue here. Um, in theory, I'll let this dry and I'll add more colors. But for today, I'm going to add. I might need to add the actual black paint. Get this face going for you guys. A lot of the faces are inspired by happy memories. You know, hope for days where we can smile all the time. You know, maybe a memory from a friend of mine that we had a great joke and I was one to paint about it. Um, but I always use words like love, hope, joy, smile, inspire, um, faith, give. These are just things that I live by, and I try to put that into my artwork. You know, but when I do this face, sometimes you got to make that work.
I hope folks are
I got a little
following
quiet there for a
along at
second.
home, maybe. Oh, looks good.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I should. That's what I should have said. So every time we do this on live, we ask the audience to grab a sheet of paper and markers and work along with me. And sometimes you get the best smiles, and then I'm actually sending pictures in later. It's pretty cool. I usually outline pretty. Some of the white is still wet, so I just go around the outside a little bit.
The chat's pretty
For
quiet right
today,
now,
we.
so maybe everyone's working on their smile right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. They barely just watching and working on it. Sometimes you can add some famous style by I think Jackson Pollock really got it going on back in the day. But sometimes it's fun to just add something that maybe I didn't expect to see. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Oh, yeah.
I'll add a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kids definitely love doing that once they discover they can spread the
Oh
paint.
man, yeah, because yeah, it just adds some flavor. In theory, like I'll let it dry, then I'll go over it a few different layers, and by the time it's done, you have some texture that's dried in. I have some abstract. I have the smile. I'll add words like I said, love, hope, joy around the outside, and you just never know what it's going to turn out, man. I try my best to make every piece knowing that it has the possibility to be something brand new that I never done
Mhm.
before,
Mhm.
and I'll add
And
I'll
that
add
kind of gets
love
into
down
that
here.
that kind of gets into the making art for creativity's sake, where you're kind of pushing yourself to what more can you do with this style, this technique,
Yeah,
this
I'm
this
always
plan.
pushing it. I always, like I said, sometimes I have an idea, like I might have sketched it out, and some of the fun days come where it's just I have no idea what's going to happen, and I have no idea if it's finished yet because I may work on this again tomorrow, and then come up with something that's brand new. But this is kind of the approach that I do. I always try to make sure it gives off some energy that if someone buys it, that
Mm,
energy only adds value to their home,
yeah,
and don't take away from it.
yeah,
I always think that's important as well because the energy I put in this, someone's going to travel to their home, to inside their private quarters, and it needs to represent a positive energy.
yeah. That's great. A few more comments in the chat here. Dawn says inspirational. Laura's joining us and says this has been so fun to watch. A lot of positivity being spread on the in the chat box here as well. So that's
Oh,
great.
that's
I
pretty
like that kind of.
cool. Listen, anybody out there, I'm all about meeting new people. I'm all about um, just having new conversations. Teach me something new. Uh, I hope to share something with you. DM me. Always meeting new people and finding out new stories is also what keeps me going with my artwork. And just thank you for having me today.
Yeah, of course. So someone shouting out the mural in downtown Rochester that the DIA just finished. You mentioned that you might come back to that piece. Do you usually just work on one piece at a time, or do you usually have a few things going?
No, so guess what? I I always, unless it's like a really large piece, there's about 6, 7 paintings happening at one time. Yeah, because I feel like my brain never stops, and so while one paint drying, I'm going to the next. I'm going to the next, and if it's like a theme painting, sometimes I just have to sit with one painting for 2 weeks. Um, but if I'm working off the top of my head, I'm just going off creativity, off energy. Yeah, I can probably have 10 to 20 canvases at one time going, and they're all coming out the same but different.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice, thanks. Yeah, I think I saw you just had a bunch of circular smile
Oh
pieces
yeah, you
up
seen those?
this week
Yep.
online, right? Which
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was a
yeah.
batch
I
of what,
learned this.
20?
Yep, yep. We did. Oh, you're good. We did 20,
That was a
and man, what makes it so cool is the people respond. They always sell out. There's like a little $100 virtual pop-ups. I got that idea from my man Shivi who does
oh yeah,
pop-ups.
yeah,
And so because of the pandemic and because of everyone's at home, it just felt good to just ship everything out and they come right to the doorstep. So it kind of
yeah.
worked out. But um, having a multiple pieces at one time is, and I know I talked about like playing music while I paint, but half the time it's complete silence though. My brain is just doing all the talking, and I'm talking to myself, and I'm making noises and just kind of being free with it. Yep.
Hmm. I could see that for sure. Yeah, that's a great point though about the pop up those sort of online sales and stuff over the pandemic. I think that was probably a good way for artists to keep busy and do something in lieu of gallery shows. But also, I think that it's probably good
Oh
for the
yeah.
people buying the art too. That's nice to you can't get out to an art show or get out to a gallery to have just this
Yep.
piece of work delivered right to your door and then something new in your house.
Yeah, and then you got the virtual exhibits. You got online. Actually, currently, I have work on One Time Run website for Black History Month, and so people can go like that. Wasn't like a plug. It's just kind of a great partnership I'm working with, and they got my work online. Um, and we sold majority of the work the first day. So you know, online has definitely helped me as an artist grow my presence, and I try my best to use social media to get the word out there that I'm working on new work, and just kind of getting better at engagement, getting better at answering DMs, and getting better at just replying and putting out something that I can stand by. You know, yeah. If you post a video now, someone's gonna have access to it 4 years from now. So I got to make sure I'm putting out great content that I can live with.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think this video has been great content. I'm glad that people will be able to revisit this and, kind of review your
Yeah.
technique, review some of it's almost like going to be like a time capsule. You'll be able to look back and see, oh, that's where I was in
Right.
2022.
Right.
And this is what I had
Yeah. And I'll
accomplished.
be able, once it's all dry, I would love to post it and share it with you, because once it's all
Oh yeah.
dry, I'll add a little bit more to it, and
Yeah.
then you'll be able to see what it looks like complete. Because I
Yeah.
like where it's going now, so I'll be able
Would
to add to it.
would love to see that online, and hopefully we can repost that for folks to see the final product.
Oh,
Speaking
perfect,
of
perfect. Yep.
final products, what are you working on next? We looked at a million murals that you spent all summer doing, it looks like. What are you doing to keep busy in
Yeah.
the winter months? Do you have things planned for this upcoming spring, summer? Where can folks
So
see your
so
work?
so Yeah, so right now we're starting. This is the part of the year where I'm starting to get requests in. I'm starting to apply for different applications that I want to do murals, and I believe it's going to be a busy summer. I've worked on in the studio work over the winter, just make sure I still staying busy, and working on a show, a new body of work to get a show going. I got the work on One Time Run, and I really want to get into this virtual space, man. This crypto world. I'm trying to design a lot of NFTs right now for Smiles to make sure I can be a part of this history. And yeah, that's something I'm really excited about learning about just crypto in general and how art plays a part in these virtual galleries and virtual museums. And yeah, just staying creative, just keeping my mind open to new ways to spread my message with smiling. Yep.
Cool, cool. Cool. Sounds like you've got
Yeah.
a lot of big ideas there. That's great. I'm excited to see what
Yeah, I
comes
mean,
next.
we got toys coming, man. Uh, I guarantee you, we're gonna find a way to get these large smile sculptures. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna find a way to get these large smile installations where it's not even about a painting. It's more of a an installation that's there to move the environment for a month. So
Yeah.
yeah, stay tuned.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see that. Just going through the chat here. Another nice comment here. Thank you for all you've done and for all you keep doing. This is from Prism here, which sounds like it's someone you know.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, man, thank you so much. Keep bringing love, positivity, creativity, and smile to. Listen, uh, it's an honor to be able to do this work. I truly believe that I was born with this, and it makes me happy. I'm bringing home this energy to my family, so things are working out. I'm really proud to where I'm at as an artist and as a man, as a father and husband right now. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, well, I think that'll about do it for today. We covered a lot of ground, looked at a lot of work, which was very nice to discuss it all. If there's any last minute comments or questions in the chat, feel free to throw those out now. This video will be up
Yeah.
online a bit, so you'll be able to, share it with folks that might be interested. You'll be able to revisit it yourself, Phil. But yeah, I just wanted to say thanks so much for everyone for joining
No,
us, and
no.
thanks, Phil,
Thank you
for
so
joining us
much.
and spending this time and sharing your work with us. It's definitely going to
No, this is. I hope to meet
people
some
have
new
mentioned,
friends here.
yeah, a few people have mentioned in the chat, oh, I saw your work around town. I've seen it all over the city. I never knew the backstory. So now hopefully, that'll be nice next time people go
Oh yeah,
downtown
hopefully,
or wherever. They'll be able to see, oh, there's Phil's smile mural. Now I know the whole backstory and what
the
he's up
whole
to and his
message. Yeah,
plans for
no,
everything.
thank you so much.
Um,
Hey, listen,
yeah.
I just want to say one thing. Uh, so typically, there's someone in the room right now in the audience, like, man, um, they used to draw, right? Man, I used to really draw. And I always tell people, like, it's never too late to create, whether it's a doodle in a sketchbook, whether you get some chalk, um, you just no roadblocks, just live it up, create, inspire, and be kind, and it'll all come back, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely. That is a great note to leave on, a great message to leave on. Yeah, hopefully you've all been inspired to grab your sketchbook or a scrap of paper or whatever, and
Yeah.
do some doodling, do some drawing, just let that creativity come out of you. You'll feel better afterwards, I guarantee you.
Oh yeah,
Just,
and then
just
we
that
can make
thumbs
some
up.
art together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully, Phil, we'll be able to have you down at the museum. We'll do some in-person stuff soon, maybe this summer. We'll be in touch. Keep an eye out for
Oh man,
that. And yeah, keep an
you
eye on
got it.
Phil's
Looking forward
Instagram
to
for
it.
more. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Phil. I'm gonna let you go. We will talk soon. Thanks everyone for joining us. Stick around next week. We've got a two-part feature on the new Black Vanguard, which is the photography show up at the museum right now, which is incredible. And that'll be hosted by Ray Henney, Tana Jenkins, and Pamela May, who's a new someone new that will be joining. If you've watched those presentations before, and that's two parts. So part one next week, part two the following week, and we'll be back next month. Thank you.